Farming and ranching is not an easy business. There's economic challenges. Today, the mission at Capital Farm Credit, we've been serving farmers and ranchers for over 100 years in the farm credit system. Accessing data, accessing information is critical in our business, and it's critical in their business as well. But in the last year, and the work that we've done with Andersen is looking at the customer experience and looking forward.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our channel. Today we'll be discussing the role of trusted advisors in rural lending. I'm Valentin Kuzmenko, Chief Commercial Officer at Andersen, and for me, it's a real honor to welcome two seasoned experts to our talk. Jeff Norte, President and CEO of Capital Farm Credit, and Brandon Paxton, Digital Director at Andersen. Both Jeff and Brandon share a military background and have gone on built impressive careers at the executive level. They also know firsthand how digital solutions can transform modern businesses. We've got a lot of talk about it, so let's start. Jeff, you've had diverse roles: military service, regulatory work, agribusiness finance, before leading Capital Farm Credit. How have these experiences influenced your approach as CEO of Capital Farm Credit?
Well, thanks, Valentin. Yeah, I have had the pleasure of having a lot of diverse backgrounds and experiences. You mentioned my military. That's where it started back in the 80s, and joined the military in the U.S. Army and really developed strong teamwork. And the military, honestly, is really well known for developing leaders. And so I learned a lot about leadership and learned a lot about teamwork. From there, I went into banking. And in the banking world, it's a unique world that I learned a lot about just the fundamentals of banking. I went to be a regulator and an auditor, and I'm a CPA as well. So I got to see the business on the backside, and I got to see a lot of different banking businesses. The advantage to that is you get to see how things are done well and how things maybe you don't want to do. So I lean on that from that experience that I saw through those 14 years. Closing banks and seeing how things are not done well or done right versus those that did it well. And I always, when I think about making decisions in our organization, I think back to what worked well, and that's where I lean. From there, I got into the ag financing business with CoBank, our funding bank. And I will tell you, I was born and raised on a farm, joined the military, got into accounting and finance. And when I found the farm credit, it was unique in the form of bringing together my passion of ag and my passion for finance and accounting together. And so while I don't farm and ranch, where a lot of my passion lies, I still feel like I give back through my expertise in finance and accounting back to the ag industry.
That's very impressive. Thank you very much, Jeff. Yeah. Brandon, your background is impressive too, from your early days in the Army to leading as a C-level executive in IT. How has that mix of experience shaped the way you approach leadership and strategy?
Well, I think it's very similar to what Jeff said. The military is an amazing place where it fosters leadership just naturally. The whole goal is to kind of come together as a team and to accomplish something and kind of putting aside all of your egos and personalities just to come to this goal. So I think that's something that probably I'd be the most proud about is just coming in and being in this team environment, and then that's kind of what I probably build everything off of, is that foundation for the military.
Brandon, when I think about the military and I think about teamwork, I think about one of the mottos in the military is you're only as strong as your weakest link.
Yes, sir.
And so, going on road marches in the infantry and in basic training, you can be the guy out front running, but the entire platoon is not going to move forward if there's that guy back there not carrying his weight. So what you find yourself doing is, I was real individualized when I went in the military and realized I gotta go back and make sure that I'm helping others succeed. As a result, you move that entire team forward more successfully.
That's leadership role means.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Jeff, how would you describe Capital Farm Credit's mission and identity?
Yeah, the mission at Capital Farm Credit, we've been serving farmers and ranchers for over 100 years in the farm credit system. 100 years committed to that. That industry goes through a lot of ebbs and flows, and our mission is to provide reliable credit and financial services to farmers and ranchers across the United States. And we are there. One of our core values in our organization is commitment. That commitment is there from our part to those farmers and ranchers. They know that when they go down into those hard times, and there's some challenges out there today, when they're down there and they're struggling, that we're there to help finance them and help look for solutions to come out and be successful in the long run.
That's really impressive, Jeff, and I actually see a lot of parallels with what we focus on at Andersen. Brandon, I imagine you feel the same way.
I absolutely do, and I think that's why there's so many synergies with Andersen and Capital Farm Credit, because it kind of goes back to what we were talking about with the military and about being a team and kind of focusing on that. But even more so, if you really kind of go back into what the military is, it's about like serving, right? And I think that I always want to go into things and I want to make sure that we're serving our clients and working for them to the best of our ability. And just as I would serve my country, I would serve our clients the same exact way. And I think that's actually, again, back to that word synergies, why we work so well with Capital Farm, because Capital Farm actually also is all about serving and taking care of their clients as well. So it's just it's a great fit.
Gentlemen, we are in Europe right now, and I assume it would be very interesting if you would share for our European people what challenges in rural lending are unique to the United States, if any of them.
Well, there are. I just mentioned to you there are some challenges, and there are many. Farming and ranching is not an easy business. There's economic challenges today. The costs of running an operation are enormous. A tractor is just the investment in land, the investment in tractors, the cost to run an organization and provide a profit this year is really challenging. What we're seeing is the input costs are high and the crop prices are low. And that's not a good formula. They're also operating in an environment that has a lot of volatility in it. And so finding ways to work through that market volatility is a challenge. A couple other challenges that farmers and ranchers have is finding good quality people. It's a shortfall. Finding people that want to put in 12, 15-hour days on a farm or ranch, it's pretty challenging. So finding people that are committed to that kind of business is a challenge. And I'd also say another challenge that kind of brings us together is technology. Accessing data, accessing information is critical in our business, and it's critical in their business as well. And I would say right now, the farmers and ranchers, there's a skill gap there. Between folks that have the skills to understand how to access and leverage that data within even the farming and ranching business, and those that don't. There's a pretty big gap there. So farmers and ranchers have a lot of challenges, but here's what I'll tell you, a little secret. Farmers and ranchers in the United States are very resilient. And what we see year over year over year is they figure out ways to be agile and move their business to be successful every year.
A lot of companies, they invest in resilience.
Yes.
How software technologies can help to solve these challenges?
Well, I think, and Capital Farm Credit would definitely be the best spokesperson, if you will, in terms of just understanding that this is a very fluid environment and there's a lot of changes. And when Capital Farm kind of, laid out their roadmap of understanding what they wanted to accomplish, they understood that, things are changing in the world and technology is a big piece of that. And I personally believe that they've embraced it very well, and they've kind of really committed to it. And that's, again, back to that piece that I was talking about earlier about servicing. They're about taking care of their people, and they understand that technology is what is going to help them better help their clients.
Just 3 words: quick, reliable, and assured. Andersen's philosophy, powering your success. Seeking a fast track to turn your concept into a working product? Enhance your team with proven experts or entrust us with the entire development process. Schedule a free consultation on our website and kickstart your project in just 3 days. Jeff, you stressed that your goal is to be a trusted advisor, not just a leader. What does that mean in practice, beyond providing loans?
Yeah, we use the term trusted advisor a lot. When you think about a trusted advisor, there's different levels to that. Organizationally, what does trusted advisor means? We're a co-op. Mm-hmm. And so one of the things we do that's unique is we return our earnings back to our member owners. So we've got to run our organization very efficiently in order to give back as much our earnings back to our member owners. That's one way of adding value. The trusted advisor, though, takes on even another element of that, which includes those lenders, those front-end salespeople for us. They know the business, they know the operations, and when we say trusted advisors, those front-end lenders and salespeople are looked upon by farmers and ranchers to help them solve problems, to help them give advice on things, crop mixes, pricing strategies, risk management tools. And when we develop that kind of relationship, that's what we call that trusted advisor.
That's awesome. And you've done these listening tours where you met customers face to face. I do like it as well. I mean, shake people's hands, Still, one can easily collect relevant data through digital channels today. Yeah. What have you learned from these meetings that data alone could never tell you?
Well, I will tell you, there's one thing very consistent in my customer listening tour, and it was almost in every single visit I had with the farmer and rancher, and I think I did over 30 of them. Wow. And I would tell you, time is the only limiting resource they have. And so we've got to be out on farm when we can. We got to meet them where they operate. And we've got to be able to provide solutions and services, not just 8 to 5. It's got to be, I had a farmer rancher say, I don't get done in the fields until 7 or 8. I go home, I have dinner, and then I can do my banking business at 10 or 11 o'clock at night. How can you help me? Because time is going to be a challenge. This is where technology and innovation comes into play, right? We can have those personal relationships, we can do all that stuff, get out to those farm and ranches, but at 10 o'clock at night, when they need to apply for a loan, we've got to have that available to them. And so that's where technology plays a big role for us.
And you can get this information only when you meet people and they can share their habits, how they do, yes, how they work. Yes. Without it, it's impossible to build, proper solution. And
yes,
these problems you can get and insights only in fields, right?
Again, I can't say it enough, but I think it's about servicing. It's being that relationship and actually committing yourself to, making sure that they're taking care of their people, and that's what Capital Farm does.
But same time, with more services like moving online, it's easy to lose personal touch with clients. But in certain areas, people still value that good all-human connection. I'm sure farmers, ranchers, and rural homeowners are among them. So Jeff, how do you ensure that the software solutions you use enhance rather than replace that connection?
Well, I'll tell you, it's easy, really, because I'll tell you, I'd never talk to a farmer or rancher that doesn't first say they do business with us because of the personal relationship. So, all the technology, all the things that we can put on top of that, that's icing on the cake. That's enhancing that trusted advisor. And so it all starts with the core of that relationship. They won't leave us if they view us as a trusted advisor. And that's that personal relationship. And then all the technology, the products and services that we can add on top of that is icing on the cake.
Yeah, so I got it. I wanted to say that personal relationship first, and then like technologies and all the rest behind. Awesome. What digital products or services do you think are must-haves in your industry?
Well, when we think about our technology and our digital products, what we have been focused on over the last couple of years there's really two areas that we focus on: the employee experience and the customer experience. If I look back historically, the last couple of years, we've been focusing more on the employee experience, on how to enhance the employee experience. But in the last year, and the work that we've done with Andersen is looking at the customer experience and looking forward. And so the customer experience, the products and tools, this uniform customer portal that we are building together, the AgriNext, I think is a must-have. Again, it's going to provide those farmers and ranchers the opportunities to be able to have technology mobily, and as well, and access to that 24/7. So I think we again have to go back to understanding that time is a limiting resource for all farmers and ranchers, and while personal relationships are very critical, we've got to build tools, digital tools, to make the customer experience easy and something that they can rely on.
When you cover huge audience, your clients, and they are different generations. When you switch from generation to generation, like some of the tools for new generation, they were like, wow, I don't know how to use it because we're absolutely in a different place. So how you fix this?
Well, you have to be versatile. You're right, Valentin. Our customer base, we've got over 23,000 customers. And they're not all just digital. They're farmers and ranchers that still want the personal relationship. So we've got to bridge the gap. But we do see that next generation, what we call the future farmers, relying more on digital and demanding that we provide value back to them. So if you look at the older generation, they do a business on a handshake, and it's real personal. As we've transitioned, the next generation farmer and rancher wants to say, what are you going to do for me to help me be successful in my business? And so that's how we've got to think about it, and that includes technology and digital tools.
Awesome. About digital tools, last question, I promise.
Yeah.
Like, what's been the biggest win for your business so far?
Oh, well, without a doubt, this newly developed uniform customer portal is going to be, it's a competitive advantage for us, Valentin. It's just hands down, our team is excited about it, and being able to offer it out in the market and have a competitive advantage, I think is going to set us apart in the marketplace.
You said just that you upgrade your landing system. Could you tell us more about the AgriNext project? What exactly motivated you to implement such a solution?
Well, AgriNext, this uniform customer portal, the reason we were looking at this solution was we have a lot of systems, different systems, which require multiple sign-ons to different systems. There's no one-stop shop for a customer, and there's no mobile application. And I got to tell you, if you're not doing something, if you can't access something on your phone now, you're falling behind times. So the fact that we knew we needed a system with a single sign-on, easy to use for our customers, and digital and mobile, that's really what inspired us to move towards developing and working with you guys at Andersen to develop this AgriNext product.
Brian, could you add also something about this new platform?
Yeah, I think when Capital Farm reached out to us, I mean, I keep harping on it, but again, they were trying to find how they can service their farmers and people to the next level, and they understood that things might have been a little fragmented and it wasn't as easy, and then there wasn't the mobile and things like that. So they had a vision. They understood what they needed to do to service their clients, and they had a great I guess path forward that they kind of road mapped out, and they went from there and couldn't be happier.
This project isn't just important for your business, Jeff. As a software development company, I want to add that for us it's very promising, and we believe that it's a great future and awesome cooperation. Are there any features in the new portal you're particularly excited about?
Beyond the single sign-on, beyond the mobile application, I will tell you what employees say is the ability to see what the customer is seeing. So our employees can, have a mirror image of what the customer is seeing. Our employees are passionate about serving our customers, and then today many times they can't see what that customer is looking at, and so they struggle with high level of service. So in the new portal, there's going to be a mirror image for loan officers, credit underwriters, and admins that can see what the customer is seeing. And what that will result in is much better and much higher level of service.
Yeah.
So pretty exciting stuff.
That's very awesome. That's very awesome. So when the portal is live, what impact do you expect? Customer engagement, workflows, support calls?
Yeah, I would say, even through the testing, Valentin, we've had really positive feedback. We've ran the testing in preparation for this launch of this new product. And the scores are over 9 out of 10. And just gives you an idea that, man, we're moving in the right direction. When your customers are scoring you that high, that means that they really appreciate the product. And it goes back to really feel like we got a competitive advantage in the marketplace.
We all use Google for reviews, and not everywhere you can find such a high scores, right?
Yes.
Data and personalization are transforming industries. With this portal, how will you make the experience more personal? Tailored options, reminder, customer dashboards?
Yeah, in the new portal, as we think about some of the advantages around data, because one of the things that farmers and ranchers are challenged with is getting good quality data that they can rely upon. And some of the stuff that we'll be able to make available in the portal will help them with their business. I think it goes even beyond that too. The other thing that we think about when we think about the customer portal and leveraging data for our customers is some of the potential predictive analytics and predictive things that we can do. For example, looking forward at things that are happening in the marketplace and giving and sending out a campaign to certain folks. If we know that they need crop insurance or they want rain or cattle insurance, and we know there's an open period of time there that they have to apply for that, with this new portal, we can send out digital campaigns through the portal to help them know, hey, you've got 2 weeks here to get your livestock insurance in place, or your 2 weeks here to get your crop insurance in place. So not only is it providing data and helping them with their business, but I think in the future as we move forward, we're going to see more use around predictive stuff as well.
You told us and shared how you built partnership. On other hand, like what are you looking for in vendors? I mean, partnership like for your business, but partners who offers you solutions such as Andersen or other vendors. So what's the most important for you?
Well, I will tell you, when it comes to working with vendors, What we look for is alignment in culture, alignment in relationship, and probably alignment in passion to serve. Brandon, you've said it several times, right? And I've heard it from you. Serving is important. We give back to our farmers and ranchers, and companies that are passionate about giving back and serving align very well with us. And the relationship that we have with Andersen has been exceptional. The responsiveness, the passion, the enthusiasm that your team has just assures us that we've selected a very good partner with Andersen, and we look forward to doing more business with Andersen.
Every time we learn from partnership because it's always new people, new connections. Brandon, you've started this relationship. Like, what do you want to add?
We keep saying it, but I think it needs to be said again. And Joseph, when the first time I actually talked with him, believe it or not, I was also here in Europe. The very first time I ever talked to him, we were on a video call. And Joseph emphasized how much Capital Farm is a very much of like a family. Yeah. And he said that if we're going to work with somebody, we need to be, it's got to be a family. There's got to be a real actual partnership. And people toss those words around, I think sometimes loosely, and they don't really back it up. But at the same time, it wasn't just Andersen, actually. I can also say that the reason everything works so well is because Capital Farm also backs up. They own their word. When they say they're going to do something, they do it in a timely manner. And I'm married 17, 18 years. It feels like a marriage. There's two sides of it, and it works out really well. So,
awesome. Finally, what advice do you have for other leaders that are outside trying to balance technologies and personal connections?
It's you need both. You need both. I would say it starts with personal relationships, and developing those personal relationships that Brandon just mentioned is critical for your success in an organization. But in today's environment of big data, the amount of data that's coming into our lives, and we see it's on an accelerating rate. You can't ignore the importance of understanding technology. So while it's important to build those relationships, you just have to be thoughtful about technology and innovation. It's just a part of who we are, and I think it's a real important part of being a leader in our organization.
Okay, gentlemen, so lightning round, rapid fire, yes, no. Have some quick questions as well. So let's start. One quality every C-level executive must have. Jeff?
Servant leadership.
Awesome.
Discipline.
Discipline. Okay. Which shaped you more, your military years or your first corporate job?
I would say military years.
I hate to steal his answer, but it's the truth.
If you had to choose better data or better customers relationship?
It's got to be start with the customer relationship.
Again, I'm stealing his answers, but it's got to be about the customer first. Customer first always.
If you could automate one task instantly, which would it be?
We're in a heavily regulated business. And so we've got a lot of policies, procedures, and regulations, thousands of pages. And if there's a way to automate that and make that easier for our lenders, underwriters, and admins, I would automate that process.
Awesome, awesome. Brandon?
I'd love to automate my calendar.
It's not automated yet? What's your favorite way to recharge after a tough week?
I love sports, and the way I look to recharge, and I do this very regularly, my team knows it. I'm a basketball player. I love to play hoops. We've actually got a basketball court at our headquarters location. Wow. And so I'll go out for 20, 30 minutes and shoot hoops, and it just clears my mind and helps me recharge.
That's what I say all the time. Like, why you need sport? When people ask me, I need to recharge my brain. I don't think. Yeah. I'm just relaxed there.
I love sports too, but I'll maybe take a bit of a cop-out answer here. My kids and my family, I think that recharges me a lot.
one skill you wish you had mastered it earlier in your career?
I think putting others first. I've learned that over time. I think I was very individualized before, and I was gonna conquer the world. But what I realized is great leaders grow their teams and put others first.
That's impressive.
I'd say maybe the ability to say no. Sometimes I just, you feel like you just want to do everything and you never want to say no, and you just want to make sure that you make everybody happy. But sometimes I think it's okay to, to say no.
And the last one, that's pretty easy, but which is more important for business growth? Having the right people or the right tools?
I always say we're in the people business, so for me, it's the people.
That's
Not
here, right?
fair, yeah, to
I
go
know.
behind. But
Brandon's having to follow.
But yeah, it's always people first.
Awesome. Gentlemen, thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. It's
Thank
a pleasure
you.
for me.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.